And if we don't do it, you'll be in here for the rest of your life. But if we do it, you stand a chance, he said, to go out and live like the others. Oh, what do you want to do with my brain? I said to him. But he just repeated what he'd said. But I was no fool. I knew I was a minor. I knew they had to get permission before they did anything to me. I knew they'd have to get permission from my mother. So I wrote her and I told her what they were trying to do to me. But she signed the form, you see. I know this because he showed me a signature when I brought it up to him. So that night I tried to escape. That night I spent 5 hours sawing through one of the bars on the windows of that ward, right throughout the dark. They used to shine a torch over the beds every half hour, so I timed it just right. And then when I was nearly done, a man he had a fit right next to me. And they caught me anyway. About a week later, they started to come around and do this thing to the brain. We were all supposed to have it done in that ward. They used to come around and do it one at a time, one a night. I was one of the last, so I could see quite clearly what they did to the others. They used to come around with these big, I don't know what they were, they looked like big pincers with wires on, and the wires were connected to a little machine. It was electric. And they would hold the man down, and the chief doctor, would fit these pincers, something like earphones. He'd fit them on either side of the man's skull. There was a man holding the machine, and I can't remember whether he pushed a button or turned something. Just a matter of switching the current, I suppose it was. And the chief would press these pincers on either side of the man's skull, and he'd keep them there. And then he'd take them off. And they'd cover the man up and they wouldn't touch him again until later on. Some put up a fight, but most didn't. They just lay there. They were coming round to me, and the night they came, I stood up against the wall. They said, get down on the bed. I knew they had to get me on the bed, because if they did it while I was standing up, they might break my spine. So I stood up, and then one or two of them came after me. I was much stronger then. I was much younger than I am now. I was quite strong then. And I took one of them out, and I had the other around the throat, and the chief doctor suddenly had these pincers on either side of my skull, and I knew he wasn't supposed to do it while I was standing up. That's why Anyway, he did it. And I did get out of that place. I got out, but I couldn't walk very well. I don't think my spine was damaged. It was perfectly all right. But the trouble was my thoughts had become very slow. I couldn't think at all. I just couldn't get my thoughts together. I just couldn't get it together. The trouble was I couldn't hear what people were saying. I couldn't look to the left or to the right. I had to look straight in front of me, because if I turned round I couldn't keep upright. And I had these headaches. And then I went on the people, but they wanted to take me in. But I wasn't going to go in anywhere. So I couldn't get work because I couldn't write anymore. I couldn't write my name. So I used to sit in my room. That was when I lived with my mother and my brother. He was younger than me. And I laid everything out in my room in order. All the things that I knew were mine. But I didn't die. I never had those hallucinations anymore. I never talked to anyone anymore. Other thing is, I can't remember much about what I said, what I thought. I mean, before I went into that place. The thing is, I should have died. I should have been dead. Well, then, after a time anyway, I got a bit better. I started to do things with my hands. About 2 years ago, I came to live here with my brother. He got this place. And I decided to give a go at decorating it. So I came to this room and I started to collect wood for my shed and all these bits and pieces that I thought might come in handy for the flat or around the house sometime. I feel much better now. I don't talk to anyone now. I steer clear of places like that cafe. Never talk to anyone like that anymore. I've often thought about going back and trying to find the man who did that to me. But I want to do something first. I want to build that shed out in the garden.